Alright guys, welcome to a video I've waited probably 30 years to make. We get to play Grand Prix 2 with the steering wheel and pedals. Thanks to the fantastic new mod by Hatcher, the Grand Prix 2 x86 mod, which of course is a homage to the processor we had back in the day to get these things running. These of course were MS-DOS games back in the day, so a bit hard to get them working on a modern Windows system. Like I've got Grand Prix 4 installed here somewhere, but I cannot get the pedals and everything to work properly, so I've abandoned that. This launcher bypasses all that, gets you straight in the game. As long as you've got a copy of Grand Prix 2, which you can get downloaded from any abandonware site, you can just click one button and bang, she loads up. So I'm going to jump straight in, do a race weekend at Canada Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and here we go, the classic cockpit. We're going to do something really spectacular as well. Get the black bars on the side of the screen there, engage first gear, widescreen, fantastic. Here's the classic cockpit. Of course, down the side we've got our options to turn on and off using the function keys, auto gears, racing light, etc. I'm going to leave indestructibility on because I will bin it at some point. Don't want to crash the car. The biggest thing for people of my vintage, you remember, that's the biggest thing, a moving steering wheel. Back in the day when this came out, didn't have the capability to render that sort of stuff, I dare say. And we had a static steering wheel, static tyres, so the front wheels move as well, which again, the immersion stuff we take for granted these days with our fancy graphics and, you know, all these hotshot physics. This is how we started back in the day. I actually started back in 1987 with a test drive, and then of course migrated through the Jeff Kremen Grand Prix series. So for me, this is incredible. I said, first time ever I've been able to drive this game as you should, because back in the day, if you read the manual, you got support for keyboard, mouse, and a joystick. Definitely had a keyboard, definitely had a joystick at some point, but very hard to get any nice inputs, you know, on the throttle. It's either fully on, fully off. There's no progression to any of that. So this is the first time in 30 years I actually drive this game properly. So the witchcraft and the voodoo magic that Hatcher's done to get this running on a modern system is fantastic, because I do actually have Grand Prix 4 installed somewhere on this computer, but so hard to get especially the peripherals set up properly and working. I just gave up on it. Don't have the patience for that. So this is just so simple to set up. I couldn't believe it. I got it set up yesterday afternoon and spent many hours last night playing it. I just got lost, to be honest, to the point where my wife came in and said, "What the hell are you doing? Come to bed." And for me, Grand Prix 2 is definitely the greatest of all the Jeff Kremen series. Grand Prix 1 was great, but Grand Prix 2 was the first game where everything looked like I saw on TV. I was probably 12 or 13 when this game came out back in the day. 43 now, for those who are counting. And yeah, this was the first thing that looked like what I saw on TV. The 3D sprites of the cars look like they were on TV. They had sponsorship on them. You know, you can tell, the SimTech in this game's got the MTV sponsorship. You can see that car straight away. The circuits looked like the circuits. Yeah, there's not much elevation. Obviously, we're not laser scan circuits like we have these days, but you can tell straight away, we're in Montreal, we're in Canada, we know this circuit. The amazing thing, this corner, just like it is in the modern world, it's a little bit off camber, a little bit hard. Even back then, it was a tricky corner. They got that right. So this, just driving around with a smile on your face. And again, this little right-hander, one of my least favourite corners. The corner and the car never seem to work together there, and again, they were able to represent that back in this game. So we're not doing any sort of setup, just default setup. Just run around. And of course, runs really, really well. Again, there's more trickery and magic because the game originally was locked to 25 frames a second. The physics of the game were tied in with the frame rate. But when I ran the diagnostics last night, it was running, I think, about 100, 101 frames a second. So there's some sort of magic going on in the background to get the game physics working, but have it so you got a much greater sense of speed. Again, something we didn't have 30 years ago. So I've got progressive brake, progressive throttle, they all work as they should. The flappy paddles work as they should. You can even map a H-pattern shifter, because of course some of these cars, 94 or 93, 94 was sort of transition period from the old H-pattern gearboxes through to the modern semi-automatic and even fully automatic gearboxes. So some of the smaller teams at the back of the grid would have still been running a H-pattern even into the 94 season. So you can, if you want to, map your H-pattern shifter, and it's all super easy. That's what I love about the modding community. Games like this. Richard Burns Rally. Richard Burns is probably my most played game at the moment. A 20-year-old game with the best physics of any simulator. I'm still playing it. People are still keeping it updated and fresh. Then you got this sort of stuff. Guys bringing back the old IndyCar games, Grand Prix games, getting them working on modern system. And there are more planned updates for this as well. This is literally an alpha build, so it's version 0.332 or something, so it's super early build, but the fact that it's so early in the build and it still works is absolutely incredible. But no crash to desktops, no dramas really to speak of. It just works, and that to me is amazing. It's the passion of some of these guys to keep this sort of stuff going. It's just amazing. And again, people look at this and go, how the hell could you play this back in the day? But this, at the time, was realistic. It looked like I saw on the TV. And you look at the circuit, got the sponsorship, got the trees, and you got old Hockenheim, the trees are lined. And of course, some of you will remember as well, we had to turn the graphics details down as well. We had, because our computers were so rubbish back then, especially at Hockenheim, I remember distinctly having to turn the details down while I was driving around, because the trees took up so much processing power. I think it was Alt-D on the keyboard. You could cycle through different levels of detail as you were driving to get the game running as close to that 25 frames a second as you could. And this is just amazing. Because back then, games were better in general, and they just were. I'm talking about all games, RPG, adventure games, shooters, simulators. Because we didn't have the fancy, 4K ray trace graphics, all that sort of stuff, the gameplay had to be absolutely superb to keep you engaged, and that's where the fun is. These games are more fun and more engaging than modern games. I could literally play this for hours. I'll be doing a series, I reckon, do a full 1994 season. Because you didn't care that the graphics were rubbish. We thought we were Formula 1 drivers. And there we go, just touch the curb, and around we go. That's our first spin. So flick it around here. The old hairpin. We'll try and get a few laps of fuel left. Give ourselves a bit of a gap here to the car in front. Yeah, as I was saying, graphics weren't everything. It was all about the gameplay. And the thing with this game too, of course, was this was the first game where the setup of the car actually made a difference. I've got my teammate coming up behind me. So we have a setup in this game. As we smash into the Jordan there, I get smashed into by my teammate. So yeah, got this little man waving the flag. Yeah, little things like that just make it feel realistic. Yeah, the setup. You can change roll bars and suspension, fuel levels, wing levels, all that stuff made a difference in the game. So it was the first game we did a setup and it actually affected the physics of the game, so it was just incredible. And of course I moved on to Grand Prix Manager as well after that. That came out around the same time. You manage your own team and manage budgets and everything. That was wasted many hours on that as well. We're trying a bit of a gap here in a minute and try and set some sort of lap. In position 9 at the moment, I haven't actually set really a proper lap yet. Not let the Jordan go behind. And again, I can tell it's a Jordan because had that distinctive paintwork. Alright, let's go for it. Let's try and do some sort of lap. But this T2, very hard to get right, just like in the modern world, like I said. Back on the power. Tyres squealing away. I'll show you in a minute the options, how to set the car up with your peripherals and everything. Very easy to do. So the whole process has been very easy as we spin again. Let's just, we'll pause this, which again, for another fantastic thing you can do. We'll pause that, right click on the screen, into the options. So we've obviously got our game options, video options. I'll obviously be able to set my steering wheel range so it matches up one for one. It was a bit off-putting when I first loaded it, not quite matching up to what you see on the screen. Controller, so here you can do H pattern, sequential mode, controller settings, throttle, brake, clutch, everything works. Really cool little thing, the access finder down here. If you don't know what device number it was, that's part of the problem that set these old games up. You can tell straight away which access on your device is working. So it's just really literally as simple as that. I would love to know if you make a donation to this guy's mods, because I would absolutely buy this man a coffee. This is yeah, borderline witchcraft level of engineering to get this stuff working on my modern system, and wish someone would do it for the other games, or Grand Prix 3, Grand Prix 4. If we get those things working on this, I'd be in absolute heaven. Let's try and start off the curbs and get ourselves up the grid. We're in the Williams. Frank won't be happy being down so far. Pick the car in the apex. Gentle on the throttle. Very tentative through there, go a bit faster through that. We'll do a bit of a setup maybe on the car too. So I think back in the day, my first wheel was a Mad Catz wheel. Probably had that with Grand Prix 3, I would have thought. And to add to the realism, there's no force feedback as well. So obviously, the first wheels that I would have had, I said that Mad Catz wheel, definitely no force feedback on there. It was just, you know, you had that nice analog feel to it though. You can turn the car progressively, but yeah, there's no force feedback, which actually isn't as off-putting as what you think. Your brain adapts. You go back to the way it was when you were a kid, and you work it out. So that may be planned in the future. There we go, we go first 125.6, so there are plans for that sort of stuff I think in the future. There's a whole heap of stuff that people want done, I dare say, but for the moment it's what we've got. So let's go into the car setup, which I think we move by the throttle and the brakes. That's what moves you up and down. Car setup, and this was the thing that was different. So look at the stuff we can change. This was brand new at the time. This hadn't happened in the simulator before. So let's go high downforce, with that brake bias. Yeah, we'll go a bit forward. Got gear ratios. We shorten those a little bit because we're not quite maxing out the car. Pitch strategies. There's an advanced setup here as well. I mean, look at this. Roll bars, dampers, spring rates, you know, ride height. Unbelievable for the time. So, you know, again, this sort of stuff which is just commonplace these days in the modern sims. And then we got level 2. You can go up even further. Got packers, dampers, bumps. It's just stuff we take for granted these days. This was the first thing that implemented it properly, which for me is why Grand Prix 2 is the best. Let's do a quick qualifying and then might try a race. Because back in the day, rules were only 12 laps for qualifying. Which I enjoyed the old qualifying system, to be honest. It's something that changed many times over the years in Formula 1. Tried knockout systems and a modern Q1, Q2, Q3 system. Single lap. I didn't mind 12 laps. So I think this honestly took less than 10 minutes to set up. Once I had a copy of Grand Prix 2, none of that silly disc areas, please insert disc, all that sort of stuff, just bypass absolutely everything. I said you get the launcher and away you go. I just cannot believe how simple it's been made. As they say, not all heroes wear capes. We're on the middle AI setting as well, so haven't quite cranked that up yet. Just still getting used to driving the old game, so interesting to see how the AI goes as well. Right, instead of a good lap on our first one, then we'll try and go straight to the race. The wobble there, it's not something you could do back in the day. Couldn't catch a slide on the keyboard. Well, we had to use the driving aids, like I said. You had to use braking help, steering help, because obviously you can't get that nuances of feeling with a keyboard or a joystick. I said again, probably the first time in 30 years I played this game without driving aids as well, because they were just necessary back in the day. You couldn't, I said, get that feeling through a keyboard or a mouse. Maybe that toe here, probably a bit far back. Yeah, towards 290 kph. And 26, we'll go again, go a little bit faster. Because you can set the cars to their 94 levels of performance, so you can make them equal. All that sort of stuff is in the options. A little bit up there, almost a tenth up. We run off wide, so we'll come back into the pits. There's no return to pit button I can see. I might go again, we're only P7. Just enough fuel. The shorter gear ratios are worse actually. No, I was at 4/10. The pressure got to him. We'll run back to the pits and move on to the race. Flying into the pits. Alright, there we go, back in the pits. 7, oh, it's getting nowhere now, it's on 123.8. Burgo's put an absolute stellar lap there. Oh, how do we, there we go, skip to the end. Straight into the race. We're starting at the back because we didn't do that second qualifying session. That's alright. Alright, there's that iconic starting bell. And make our way through from the back of the grid. Off we go in a blaze of tyre smoke. Oh, there's been a prang. There's debris flying everywhere. Oh, take a bit of a hit there. Carnage at the start of the race. Yeah, long we go without crashing. A bit of a run, here we go, up into the chicane. Beautiful manoeuvre. Up to position 21. AI's having a huge lunge there from way back. Bit of traction there from the Williams, a lot more money of course in this team. Developed all that active suspension and gizmos back in the day. Got the best entry into the chicane there at the final corner. Zanardi's in the pits. One of my other racing heroes. Loved Alex. There's so much tragedy in his life. He's made the best of it. And a great Paralympian, of course. Oh, yellow flag. Look at that. Little man waving his flag. What's happened here? Oh my god, someone's in the gravel trap. Green flag racing, we're back to it. Concertina through the hairpin. Great run out of there. The position 17. But too much of a good run there, got balked a little bit. Well, the AI works surprisingly well, to be honest. So this is absolute buckets of fun. I could honestly play this all day. Give me all the Assetto Corsa with the fancy soul and pure and all the rest of it, but honestly I could just sit here and play this for hours. these games are so much more immersive. Oh, there we go. There's our spinner. So we'll leave it there as we go. We go back towards the back of the pack, but honestly, guys, incredible work by Hatcher. Go and support this mod. Download it. Have a go for yourself. It's I said, if you're of a certain vintage like me, a certain age, you will absolutely lose your you-know-what over it. It's just brings back so many great memories. Fantastic to be able to play it on a modern sim as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching as we pull into the pits to retire the car. And take care. Love that. Oh, fantastic. Thanks, guys.